Welcome to the Python beginner tutorial, and I'm sure you want to get coding, but before we do, let's learn about the history of Python. I know, you don't want to get death by PowerPoint, but trust me, it's better to just get it over with. Right, so a bit of basic overview. Python was made by Guido van Rossum. Originally, Python was called Python 2, which had many differences including no brackets in functions and less formatting. This may sound confusing, but by the end of this tutorial you will understand it. Currently, we are in Python 3, specifically Python 3.10. Did you know that Python is known as one of the easiest languages to learn, and it was my first coding language? In fact, its maxim is literally, beautiful is better than ugly, explicit is better than implicit, simple is better than complex, complex is better than complicated, readability counts. Now then, let's get coding. Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do Python. So let's get into it. So first off, you're going to want to open your browser. It's on my other monitor. And while you're here, you want to go ahead and search python.org. Now, if you are on a Windows machine, you don't need to do this. All you need to do is go to your search menu and type Windows Store, Microsoft Store, and click open. And once you get here, you're just gonna go here and type Python, and then you can use whatever version you want, but I recommend Python 3.10. That doesn't really make sense because there's already a Python 3.1, and in math that doesn't make sense, but we'll just go with it. Anyways, download it here, and then the next thing you're gonna want, and if you've done that, you can just skip to the section on screen now. Now, if you're on Mac, I forgot to mention, if you're on Linux, Python's already downloaded, so I'll show you how to continue with that in a second. Anyways, over here in your search, you're just gonna, go to your download, and then click over here, go down, and then here in your files, you can get the macOS one for your universal installer. You can also get the Windows one from here, but it's much easier if you download it from the Windows Store. Now, anyways, since you've got Python downloaded, the next thing we're going to want to download is Visual Studio Code. This is the IDE we're going to be working with. Feel free to use idle Python. Once you've downloaded Python, all you need to do is search idle, and you'll get this pop-up. And then after that, if you want to type your code and follow along, just here click New File. And here, this is where you write your code, and just click F5 to run your code. Right. Now go to Visual Studio Code and go to your download page, and then download whichever version you're using. Now that we've got that done, we're going to get straight into the tutorial. So you're going to want to open up Visual Studio Code, and over here I'll say open. Actually, let me show you guys from the start. So when it'll pop up, you're just gonna want to click the Explorer over here, and where it says open folder, click this. Go down to wherever you want to store it. That could be in your desktop, but I'm storing it in a secondary drive in a folder called coding. Over here the tutorial, and then once you've got there, you can just click select folder. Now that we're here, just click this plus button here with the page. This means new file, so you're going to click that, and here is where we create the file. So you can name your file whatever you want, as long as there's a .py extension on the end. So if you want to call it hello.py, just put hello and then .py. Now, since we're going to be, oops, I don't know why that happened. I did not mean to. Sorry about that, just had some trouble. Anyways, you're just gonna wanna, I'm just gonna quickly delete this. Anyways, we're gonna be calling this print.py, because I'm gonna be teaching you a function called print. Anyways, now that we're here, just copy out everything I say exactly. print, make sure it's all lowercase, a bracket, and then quotation marks. Now here it's completely up to you what you want to do. there's these double quotation marks. You can feel free to do that, or if you want to, you can use single quotation marks. Oops. You can use single quotation marks like this. It's completely up to you. In fact, people have different styles. I'm more of a double quotation marks person, so I'm just gonna put double quotation marks. Now here, type whatever you type this: hello space world and then an exclamation mark. Right. Now, since you're using Python, you're going to want to go to the extensions. That's Control-Shift-X, and then you're going to want to search Python. Over here, you have Python IntelliSense. This one is the one we're going to use. You just want to click it, and you're just going to click install over here. Now that that's done, we can go back over here, and where did my interpreter go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Now, to save your file, click Control S, and then there should be this play button here in the top right. Click Run Code, and here we have it. Hello world. Right, now what if you're coding in idle? So, should you be using idle Python? I don't know why you would do that. It's not the best IDE. Let me just do this. Okay, so what you do is first I recommend saving it. That's Control S. Just put print. Okay, put it wherever you want. I'm gonna put it in my documents folder. Just click save, and then it'll save. And then over here, just gonna type the same thing: print. You have to manually put in 2 brackets and 2 quotation marks, and then hello world exclamation mark. Gonna click F5 to run it. It will also automatically save. It does it on Visual Studio Code as well, but just to be safe, I like manually saving it. Make sure to click enter, and there you go. It says hello world. So that's how you run programs. Now, I'm not going to be using idle because personally I don't like it. Okay, so now then, what exactly did I just do here? Because it probably doesn't make sense. So what we're doing here is typing print. Okay, I don't know how I just did that. What we're doing here is typing print, which is something called a function. Now, a function lets us do different things inside code. Now, the print function, by the way, you can see a function by the fact that there's a word followed by 2 brackets. And in the function, you can write arguments, which is what you want, like what the function has to take. For example, the print function has, okay, we're not going to get into that right now, but here we have value. We're just going to ignore the rest for now because it's quite complicated. Anyways, so what this will do, it'll output to your user. So just think of print as another word for output. So output, and then it'll output whatever's inside here. Now I want you to try this. Get rid of your quotation marks, and then click, and then save it and run it. You'll realize here it'll say syntax error, invalid syntax, perhaps you forgot a comma. So what's happening here is we're actually calling something called a variable. I'll get into that next lesson, but what we have to do is use a data type called string. A string is a mix of characters and numbers, so you can use either, and that's what we're using here. You can specify a string by, as I said before, double quotation marks or single quotation marks. Hello, and then world. And guess what? Now you can write whatever you want. Now you can write anything to the terminal. So, for example, put your name in here. My name, Sharp Rhyme. Well, it's not my name, but it's my YouTube channel's name. So if I click that, and wow, it says hello, Sharp Rhyme. So this should work. If you have any problems, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I just realized my mic was really loud. Sorry about that. There you go. just leave them in the comment section and I'll see if I can help you out. Also, there's a Discord server, I'll leave it in the link below. If I do forget, feel free to just comment that I forgot. Anyways, now that we've got this done, we're basically done. Now what I'm gonna show you is so you saw before, if I just put in a character without any quotation marks and we run it, you'll see there's an error, H is not defined. So in math we have something called variables. Variables is basically another way of saying something. It's like algebra, you have x equals 7. It's now 7, x isn't actually 7, they're two different things, but you're sort of storing the value 7 inside a variable called x. So you could do the exact same thing here. If we do h followed by an equal sign, and then we need this to be a string, so we put quotation marks and then whatever you want in there, hello. We can save this program, Control S, or actually just run it. Give me a second, Control S, run it again, and here it'll say hello, even though in our print statement we don't actually have hello written here. So that way you can store whatever you want inside variables. For example, although I will say this, don't make variables with names like h or x. Make your variables descriptive, and what you shouldn't do is put a space between them, because like Python's not going to understand that. It's going to think you're doing something weirdly with it. So what you're going to want to do is use something called Camelcase. So what you do is when you do the first letter of the second word, you make it capital, so you can much easily see that says hello name. It's much easier to see that it's hello name instead of hello name, whatever whoever you thought it said that. God, I can't speak today. Right, now there's also another way of doing it, but it's like not the best. You could like it, it's called snake case. So where you do hello and then an underscore to represent a space and then name. This would also work. So I'm gonna create a variable called name, and I recommend you do this too. Space and an equal sign, and another space and then quotation marks. Just remember, feel free to use single quotation marks if you want. I just prefer double quotation marks. And then put your name, so sharp rhyme for me. And then over here in your print statement, do name. Then we can save this and click the play button again. And over here you can see sharp rhyme. Now I know this is still the first episode of the tutorial and everything, but thing is, you're probably wondering what if I wanted to say hello sharp rhyme, how are you doing today? Or what if you had two variables, say name and age equals, for example, just random age 21. What if you wanted to put name, so like sharp rhyme 21? So first I'll show you how to put two variables together. So you put in your first variable, so name, a space. Well, you don't need a space, but your code looks much neater. So if I were you, I'd do your best to make your code look neat. And then you're going to put a plus, and then another space, and then your second variable, that's age. I'm going to save this, and when I run it, it says sharp rhyme 21. Now if you want a space in your variable name, you could put a space there, and it would work. Thing is, the pluses really add up when you start adding extra variables. What if, for example, but we'll talk about that in a second, but what about if you wanted to have your name as well as something saying hello? Instead of making two variables with a space, create your so here you can type whatever you want as your string, so hello and then a space, because we have no space in sharp rhyme, and then you can do a plus followed by a then variable, which is name, and then followed by another plus, and then for example, maybe an exclamation mark on the end. Then we can save this and run the code, and it will see hello and bleh, and it will say hello shop rhyme. But it doesn't look the best, and I'm known for making my code look as neat as possible, and we're not using this age variable. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of that for now. So a much better way of doing this is using something called format strings. And actually there's 3 types of ways to format something. There's the old method, there's the format method, and then there's the format strings. So the first 2 are from an older version of Python called Python 2, but currently we're in Python 3, so I recommend using the format strings. Anyways, so to make a format string, open up your quotation marks as you normally would, and then come out of your quotation marks and put an F in front of it. You'll see the F turns purple, or actually it won't turn purple for you. I have a theme installed, and actually if you don't like the way your Visual Studio Code looks, you can go to your extensions and type theme, not Python theme, just theme, and then you'll get loads of themes. Now the one I use, or I thought I used, let's use the Atom 1 Dark theme. So sorry, I used to use 1 Dark Pro, and that's what I was using now, because I thought I was using Atom 1 Dark, but it turns out I didn't. It's the Atom 1 Dark theme, or Dark 1, whatever you want to use is completely up to you. Oh wow, that looks much better. Actually no, it doesn't. There we go. I like it because it makes your variables actually a color. Okay. Sorry about that distraction. Anyways, back to this. So when you do an F string, you can type whatever you want normally, like hello there, with the exclamation point, and it will say, oh, I forgot to save it, sorry. Yeah, and it will still say hello there. But the cool thing about this is you can add these things called curly brackets. Okay, and then I'm going to get rid of this. You can add these things called curly brackets, and then inside curly brackets you can put your variable names. So name. So now what this will do is make it much easier to read, and it also says hello shop rhyme. So now you know what variables are, you know how to print things, and you're basically a master at Python. Okay, that was a joke. There's a lot more Python to go, but you've still learned quite a bit of basic Python. Now, the next thing we're going to learn is input. So we know how to output things to the terminal using this, but what if we want some input? So you can carry on using the same file. I want to use a different file because this is a tutorial, so I can always go back. And over here, what we're going to do is we're going to look at input. So what you want to do is you want to create your variable name. So I'm going to name this name, and then I'm going to put an equal sign. After this, you're going to want to do another function. Now we learned print, but since we want to get I didn't even spell it right, print. But since we want to get input, we're going to type input, that's another function, and then put brackets. Now what we can do is put quotation marks and tell the user enter your name. Now what this will do, let me just add that. Add in colon, yeah, that looks much better. And then what we're going to do is we're going to print the variable name. So you know what print does and you know what variable is. What we're now learning is input, Control S, click the play button. Now it'll ask me enter your name, and you'll see how, unlike before where it'll give me the path name straight afterwards, it's letting me input something here. So I'm going to say my name is Shop Rhyme, and you'll see it says Shop Rhyme again over here. So what's this doing is asking the user for an input and storing it in a variable. So first we're asking the user for their name, and we're storing it in a variable called name. Now in the last section file, I taught you how to add variables and strings in the same sort of sentence. So let's do that again. So remember, F followed by quotation marks, and then put hello, and then curly brackets, exclamation mark on the end, and put name. And now what this will do is we'll print it again, and for example, let's say my name is Bob, because why not? And it will say hello Bob. So that's how you accept input. Now it's time to get into the complicated part. Instead of just inputs and outputs, we're going to learn to do something with our inputs and outputs. So what we're going to do is learn something called if-else. If-else.py. By the way, if you have any questions, make sure to join the Discord server. I'll help you out over there. Now, before I get any further, I realized I missed out something. Over here, like, what if I wanted to write something? For example, if another one of my developers was looking at it and I wanted to leave them a message or explain what my program does. So what I want you to do is put a hashtag and then write whatever you want to write. So I'm going to say, this program has a predefined variable. I'm just trying to be posh here, because why not? Variable called name, which it prints out using a F string. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're talking to any programmer, don't say format string, say F string. It just makes you look cool. And also it's how like most programmers say it. And then it doesn't change anything of the program whatsoever. This is building up. There we go. This program, so it will literally say the same, but you can just add things here. So for example, if someone was looking at it and they were confused, what is this? Why is that there? Why is there a quotation, curly bracket there? Then they'll read the comment saying this program has a predefined variable called name, so a variable here, which it prints out using an F string. Now, you challenge for you, go to input and create a comment talking about what the program does and how it does it. Okay, so feel free to pause the video and tell me if you got it. Come back if you got it, and see ya. Okay guys, hopefully you've done it and you succeeded. If you didn't, feel free to come to the Discord server. Now we're going to learn if-else statements. So say for example, we have a variable. Our variable is option, and we're going to make this variable an input, and we're asking the user, do you like, actually I'm not going to do this partially, do you like Python? Question mark. I'm gonna put a bracket here just to tell them that's Y or N, not yes or no or anything like that. And then now here's the new thing we're gonna do. We're gonna type if. So what does this do? This is checking for a condition. So if I said if option equals string, don't worry, I'll go over this in a second, of Y, do this, and I'm gonna print I like Python as well. Oh, I spelled like wrong. Did you know, fun fact, we programmers spend our whole day just writing down spellings like input, option, if, and yet we still get our spellings wrong. It's not just me, there's other programmers who do it as well. Anyways, back on topic. So what on earth did I just do here? So what we're doing is checking if option is equal to Y. So I'm sure you guys are asking, why didn't you just do one equal sign? Well, one equal sign is the same thing we did here. So in Python, we use one equal sign in Python we use one equal sign to define a variable. So over here we're just defining option to equal y. So what we want, if we want to check if something is equal to something, we do two equal signs. So if option is y. Now why do we have this here? So we've asked the user to either input a lowercase y or lowercase n. So what this is doing is checking if the user inputted y, which is the string of y. Now the next section is going to go over, it's going to be a theory lesson, unfortunately. That will be in the next episode. This is part 1, the basics of the basics. And okay, back to, I keep getting sidetracked. Anyways, so y is what we want the user to input, and if they do, then we'll say output I like Python as well. Now what if they inputted something else? And oh yeah, actually, why do we have a colon there, and what is this? So this is something called an indentation. So in other languages, for example JavaScript, you would have if, but in JavaScript there's brackets for if option. The option, so in JavaScript there's be if option equals y. Give me a second, space this out. Then instead of a colon, it actually has something called curly brackets, and then you would input what you want here in curly brackets. So then they could indent, but they could just write it like this. Print, for them, print is console.log. Anyways, it's not col, it's console.log. So this is their way of saying print, and then bracket saying okay, for example. So the thing is, because they have these curly brackets, you can the interpreter, so what reads the code and makes it into binary so it can be actually used, it looks at this and says, okay, anything within these curly brackets are going to be used. However, in Python we don't have curly brackets, we have colons. So say for example we wanted to continue our code from here, we could say like da 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 da, but then we see it, and then if the interpreter didn't have it, then this entire thing would be thought of as in the if statement, which we don't want. So that's why we have indentation. So that's the tab key on your keyboard, and what that does is it makes you have this little indentation, which means that it's actually inside the if statement. Let me get rid of this. So if the option is y, then it will say I like Python as well. And then what if we wanted to do if they inputted something else, like no? Then we're going to do else and a colon. So if else, that's why they're called if else statements. Well, they're actually called if statements, but they can also be called if else statements. And yeah, you could do print that's not nice. This program was made in Python. Then, oh wow, I can't spell, can I? Was made in Python. And then if I run this code, it'll ask me, do you like Python? So if I put a Y, it'll say I like Python as well. But if I did N, it'll say that's not nice, this program was made in Python. So that's how an if-else statements work. But what if I wanted to check if they inputted N, and then also check if they inputted something else? For example, they put a capital Y instead. Then we use something called an else if. So over here, we're going to get rid of this else statement, and over here just type ELIF. So the EL stands for else, and then IF stands for if. So this is else if. Then we can also enter option equals N. Then we're going to do print this program was made in Python. But then I'm going to put here that's not nice. This program was made in Python, but for example, if they accidentally inputted a capital Y, then we're going to do else print. And then what's cool about Python is, since we can do the formatting, we can actually call the function option. So we could say option is not a valid function. Is not a valid option, full stop. Use lowercase y or n, full stop. Now what this should do is when I run it, it'll ask me if I like Python or not. So if I say yes, it will still be I like Python as well. And then so how it goes is, for example, if I did n, oh, I did not mean to do that, n, you'll say that's not nice, this program was made in Python. So what the program does is it gets an option, it gets an input which is stored in the variable option, and then it says, is it y? No, n is not y. And then it says else if is option n, and then it will say yes it is, and then it will say print that's not nice, this program is made in Python. So what if, give me a second, this is getting a bit crowded. Oh, nah. What if I put capital Y? It will say y capital Y, because we're stating the option variable, which is what we inputted, is not a valid option. Use lowercase y or n. Why is there a dot s here? Okay, there, that's better. Is not a valid option. Use lowercase y or n. So it'll go, is y? Well, it is, but like it's not it's not lowercase. So I'll move on. It'll say was the option n, and it'll say no, and then I'll say okay, so if it's not either of those, then we're gonna print whatever they inputted. So capital Y is not a valid option. Use lowercase y or n. So now this is a basic if statement as well as an elif statement. Now here's a challenge for you. Actually, I'm gonna show you something first. This is challenge 1 colon chal 1 comma chatbot dot py. There. Just double check this file name is valid, because sometimes it doesn't work. Works. Yep, it works. Okay. So using the skills we already have, you can make a pre-basic chatbot. So what we're gonna do is say ask the user. So let's greet the user first. So we're gonna use the output as well as quotation marks. Print welcome to Sharp Rhymes chatbot. Oh, I have caps lock on. Sharp Rhymes chatbot. Chatbot. And then after that we can ask the user an input. Now what I forgot to mention here is you'll see in print.py there's no space, but in input.py there's no space. But if we go to like between these, there's no line. But if we go to if else, you'll see I put a line there. Now this is called actually there's no real name for it. I guess it's just keeping your code neat. So here I'm defining my variables, and then I put an enter here because I'm doing a if statement. It's just like second nature. I just know when to do an indentation. But for example, if you have a variable, you're gonna store all your variables here. Then you might do an enter key, and then you might do this. For example, I'm not gonna go over PyTurtle in this tutorial, but I might go over it in like part 2 of this tutorial. It's up to you guys. But for example, let me find the file. Give me a second. Over here, you'll see I have, this is my turtle formatting. So this is where I was like changing things about the turtle, and then this was the actual like giving the turtle commands. We'll look at that in another video. yeah, anyways, now back to here. So for example, let's ask the user for an input. Let's ask the name. Yeah, name equals input. Oh, I don't know why I put an exclamation mark there. Enter your name. Name. Then I'm going to put colon there, and then I'm going to do an if statement. Actually, no, I'm going to do another print statement. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a print statement, print function, and I'm going to say hello. Oh wait, let me make this an F string. Hello name. My name is what's a good robot name? Lobot? No. So chat is chat. Chatter. Chatter. It's not a bad name if I can spell it correctly. Anyway, so hello, my name is Chatter. So now if we just quickly test it, a good thing is once you've got some working thing, as long as it works, you can keep checking your program. So I'm going to say my name is Shop Rhyme. If I can spell it. Why am I so bad at spelling? I do programming so much. Shop Rhyme. Hello Shop Rhyme, my name is Chatter. So far so good. Now I'm just going to clear this terminal instead. Anyways, an if statement. If actually, I'm going to ask another input. Let's call this. Actually, I'm going to get this if else statement here. I'm going to control X. Actually, control V. I'm back. Anyways, save that. Anyways, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make an if statement. Oh. So we're going to ask the user something, and then we're going to do options. So what I want you to do is to carry on with this format and keep asking the user questions and then checking their answers and make a nice chatbot. Once you've made it, feel free to come to the Discord server and post it. I'll be really happy to see what you guys have done so far. And that will be the end of the tutorial. And just to see how the chatbot is so far, I'm going to enter my name. My name is Shop Rhyme. I'll say hello Shop Rhyme, my name is Chatter. Why is it asking my name again? Ooh, I accidentally put enter your name again. Okay, I'll fix that later. Okay, so do you like Python? So I like Python, so it's gonna say I like Python as well. So there you have it. That's a very basic chatbot. I want you to keep adding to it, and then go to the Discord server afterwards. By the way, do make sure to check out the Discord server. Legendary Giveaways is the name. I haven't done giveaways in ages. The server's died at the moment, so I'm sorry about that. I hate these people. They don't even know that there's no sysbot on the server. Anyways, I'm gonna remove Dragapult, unfortunately. That was a Discord bot. I might do a Discord.py tutorial, actually. That'll be somewhat in the future. Delete the category. Anyways, add a new category. Create category. Py tutorial. And then, so come to the channel, go to the server, and go to the channel called Chatbots. By the way, when you are posting your code, 3 quotation marks, 3 backslashes, then type the name of the coding language, which is Python. This is 3 backticks. So where your number 1 key is, on the left of that, that's where your backtick is. Do an enter, where you're going to want to copy in, you want to copy your code, paste it, and then, that's just Discord being Discord, and end it with 3 backticks again, and then there you go. That's how you post code in Discord. Wait, let me just extend this so it looks a bit better. There. And then over here you have all your code sent in Discord. So make sure to show your things there, and I guess I'll see you in the next episode. That's going to be in 2 weeks. If you get this video to 5 likes, I'll do it in 1 week. Alright, anyways, I can't speak today. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.